Good morning, folks. Today what we're going to do is an acrylic color coat finish over this small house. Now, we've already pressure washed the house, and what we're doing today is we're spraying all the eaves, doing all the painting. Had to give it time for all the pressure washing to dry, the wood and everything else. So you'll see us as we go, and the steps involved in doing this are, first thing you do is pressure wash everything. Get it ready for the primer of the paint, get it ready for the primer of the wall, and for the acrylic finish. And of course, they had a roof here that wasn't in great shape, so I recommended they fix that roof prior to all this work here. So as we go, I'll show you the pressure washing. We'll show you even the fastest way to paint this, because there's a slow way to paint it and a fast way to paint the eaves. Then when we get ready to do the acrylic finish, I'll show you that too. And most times I'll use a La Habra color coat, which is porous. But on this particular one, we're going to go with a Dryvit. Dryvit makes an excellent acrylic finish, and so does Perix and Stucco Flex and Carson's. But they chose Dryvit on this particular house, so that's the one we're going to do. We'll show it to you as we get to that stage. All right, guys, we're going to paint now. I'm going to use my airless, and I do have a long wand that I can stand on the ground and get this from the ground. But if I set up my staging, I get a better application because I can ride up to it and I can control this a lot better. I'm using a paint from Home Depot. It's Bare. It's their best they have. It's a primer with paint. I always tease the sales guys. This morning I said, well, if I pay this much money for it, I could only do one coat, right? Of course, he always gives me the old, well, Kirk, we got titanium dioxide in it. It's a lot of white pigment for coverage. You still need two coats, so I just try to keep him on his toes. But anyway, even this light green, we're still going to use two coats. Two coats, two coats. Okay, here we go. So this is pretty messy. I'm normally going to wear a mask and fat goggles because this goes everywhere. And what we do is, I'm going to go ahead and hit both sides like this, come around, then I'm going to come back to it. Then I'm going to use my brush for drip marks. This saves some time, but kind of a hassle for a little house like this. And of course, I just recommend brushing the windows here. And we are going to do a color coat over all these walls here, so here we go. Pretty simple. Save a lot of time using an airless. And again, just keep your brush handy. And my son and I, as soon as I do all this, we're going to come back and brush everything in, brush these a little bit, and any holidays we'll rebrush in. So there you have it as far as paint. I'm not going to bore you and go around the whole house with you, but this is the way to go for eaves because it's just too time consuming. When you're on the frames, yeah, you can hit it with a good brush, but these airlesses really save a lot of time. How easy it is with one of these guys. These airlesses are great for these details. If I try brushing these out, it'd take forever. But you know what you're doing with an airless, you just as far as what types of paints to use, you can search the internet for any of that information because there's so many different types of paint. So many different types of primer for wood, primer for stucco, you name it. So there's quite a bit. Anyhow, the next time you see us, we'll probably be applying the primer prior to the application of the Dryvit acrylic finish on this place. Okay folks, same house. One of the benefits of a maintenance-free color coat as opposed to painting is, they painted this many times. They hate the way it looked. Well, somebody had an idea of how to do some stucco patching, and they patched it here, and they patched it over my head here. Terrible patch. And every time they paint it, of course, it enhances it even more, where you realize it more and more. The benefits of the acrylic finish that we're going to apply is about 1/8 of an inch thick. It's going to bury these really bad finishes right here. So when it's done, it'll blend into this float finish here, and it'll all be uniform. Again, that's another benefit of the color coat treatment, whether or not it's Le Havre or whether it's an acrylic finish. It blends in very well, these bad patches. Okay guys, we are done with the painting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all this tape off now, because we've got to cover once more. This tape here is just to cover the windows. Now fortunately it's a hot day today. It's about 85 degrees, so I was able to run 2 passes around all these eaves with my airless. But we're going to take all this plastic off the windows now, and when we come back next week to actually do the acrylic finish, we're going to cover again. But this time we're going to cover right to this wood, and then we're going to take our acrylic right to the wood here, because the acrylic we're going to be applying on here is tinted. It's kind of greenish, avocado greenish. So we're going to cover all the windows once more, but this part will already be done. And of course, when I remove all that plastic after the color coat's done, we might got a holiday or two. It always happens. The cracks, I'm putting a fiber mesh tape over all the cracks that are existing, and I'm putting Weldcrete on that. We don't have a drip screen here, which is, majority of homes don't have a drip screen. If it's about 40 years or newer, they will have a drip. But we don't have a drip here, so the house tends to crack. But even if it did have a drip screen, sometimes the houses crack anyway, depending on, we're on a very, very busy street. You get 10-ton garbage trucks going by, you get rain, saturates it, moves the ground, so we get some hairline cracks. You can see these, we're still going to put fiber mesh tape over them, and that way when we come to do our acrylic finish, we're going to hand apply all that also. It's done. We'll pull that, and the acrylic finish is going to be the final. So next time we see it, which will be about next week sometime, you'll see us doing that. What we're doing now is we're using a primer. Every acrylic comes with its own primer, whether it's Perex, Dryvit, Carson, Stucco Flex. There's a whole bunch of different ones. And this is the color that the actual application of the acrylic is going to be. So we're priming it now. And they say you don't have to prime, but I prime everything. This way we're better safe than sorry. In fact, I was picking up the material and they said, "Yeah, you don't need to prime it. It's not that much extra work. I'd rather prime it." We stretch the material a little bit further. It gives it a better bond. If we miss a spot, it's the same color. I'll show you something here that's, we're using Dryvit. You get this at Cal Ply, Hayward. Good stuff. It's one of my favorites. This is the color prime. So we mix up this 5-gallon pail here, and we start priming the building. I usually, back over here, I usually will paint all the vents too, because it just makes the job look a lot better. So we get all the vents, and kind of loud street. Right here, notice driving at the beach in South Shore, so we always got a lot of vehicles going by. What I do is I generally get the color packs. Now these color packs, we add one whole pack to each bucket. So if I don't use all of these buckets, I can return what I don't use. At 55 to 60 a pail, it's best to, I always get a little over. I'm hoping I have 2 extra pails. That way I can return them, but if I don't, I have them rather than go all the way back to Hayward. We're in Alameda today, so it's a long drive. We mix one of these for one bucket, one of these for the primer. So that's the stage we're at right now. Of course, we're doing the entire house. It's the second time covering the windows, because generally I'm just doing the stucco work, but a lot of times if they ask me, we'll do all the painting also, we'll do wood repair, we'll do it all. So the first time we covered the windows was way back here on the frames, and we painted that. Now we're doing the Dryvit primer, so we're covering up to here. This way, when we pull all this, there'll be a nice clean edge around it all. So second time covering, but at a different location each time. Of course, the whole house is just like this. There's no need to go around the entire house, but I'll tell you one thing, with Dryvit, this stuff sticks to your clothes, your tools, your ladders. You've got to cover really well. You can see the ground here is covered really well. All the way to the backyard, it is covered really well. And the beauty, here's the beauty of a Dryvit acrylic finish. Unlike paint you have to repaint every 8 to 12 years. The Dryvit lasts 50, 60 years. It starts to fade, but it still lasts an incredibly long time. The Dryvit, this is just a primer, but when we actually apply the Dryvit, it's 1/8 of an inch thick. So it's 50 times thicker than this here, which it'll cover this mesh tape and it'll cover a lot of flaws. But even nothing is maintenance free forever. This is poured porous concrete, and it's kind of a brownish tint. It was poured only 5 years ago. It's losing its tint because the sun is baking it. So the same applies for the acrylic finish. After about 20, 30, 40, 50 years, depending on the city you live in and the degree of heat, it will start to dull a little bit. But unlike paint, it won't come off. So until we get started with the Dryvit, I'll leave you with this right now. My son and I are going to finish. Actually, I got both of my sons here. We're going to finish doing the primer, and I'll show you how we apply the acrylic finish when we get to that stage. And this is stuff that you're better off paying somebody to do, because unless you're a contractor with a lot of years with the tools, you're not going to be able to spread acrylic finishes. Okay, guys, we're skipping around all over the place. This is called a float finish. My son already spread this out, so now I'm coming back and I'm floating it. That just means bringing the aggregate out. And I always pull these while it's wet. If I take it off when it dries, I'll pull little scabs here. And so, let's see. I just want to grab this guy here and pull it. And of course, I always do 2 layers of tape. Finish. I'll show you guys how to get a really nice transition. Straight line. Okay, we got the wind to deal with. Working on a busy street, a lot of traffic. You pull this guy here, and this way, while it's still wet, it gets a clean line. And because we did the actual painting last week, I'm not pulling off all my paint. If I use the red tape, which I use often, it's a vinyl. The vinyl tape by now would stick and pull a lot of my finish work off. So I go with the blue, and there you have it. Now we still got to come back around and do the bottom piece. This is a float finish, 50 times thicker than paint, and this piece here we still got to turn down. Okay guys, we are at the end of the job. Float finish is done. They have put it on. This window, you can see it has a lot of wood rot, so they're going to redo that right there. But I'm going to pull this frame off here, and we're done for the day. We're going to get cleaned up. I'm just doing some final touches. A little bit of clean up, and tomorrow we come back and we touch up some of the white paint here and there. I'll show you all that rest of that tomorrow. Okay guys, we are completely done with all the painting, all the priming, and the acrylic finish. I'm here just doing a little bit of touch up. It's the next day. I'll walk you around and show you what it looks like. In front of the house, over here. Front porch, brand new porch. We're still working on this window. They're going to repair that and I'm going to come back and touch that up. As you follow me, you can see the acrylic color coat. We actually applied acrylic to the garage too, so it's all uniform and looks good. And if you could follow me in here too, Jason. And you can see, of course, the backyard's mighty small. We got this wall here. They didn't want to go with that, but I did them a favor and surprised them and threw that in since we already were here. And keep in mind, folks, this is an acrylic finish. This finish, say you hit it with a lawnmower, you're going to put a little dent in it. You hit it with handlebars or things like that, you can put a little dent in it. But it's very sturdy. It's 50 times thicker than paint. And if somebody, say, hits it with the lawnmower, what we do is we go into our bucket, we get a little bit on a trowel, then we spread out a little bit, then we float it right in, match the same color, and that's for repairs. When they epoxy that front window, they're going to damage the stucco a little bit, and I'm just going to come back and feather it in. So anyway, that's a lot of painting with an acrylic finish, and this particular finish is Dryvit. Again, they make 20 different acrylic finishes. I'm just giving you the finish we used on this particular house. Well, I thank you folks for watching. Thank you, Jason, for doing all that technical stuff, and he also helps me spread when he's not using the camera. This is Kirk with Kirk Plastering. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.